I am the facilitator lead for the NSYNC API conversation. The problem we're trying to tackle is understanding how we better capture data from the industry to better benchmark it and provide insights that companies can use to better perform. What was oddly enough, part of the problem statement has been thrown away where we were talking about APIs, because I think in today's day and age of technology, we're always thinking about how we connect the technology better. But we were able to step back from that issue and think about, well, how do we make it easier to actually capture that information? Being new to the industry myself, it was just, wow, this is something I really just want to soak it in, be a sponge, and just kind of sit back and learn. But coming into it, actually, it's like, no, I need to make sure that I speak up and get really interactive, because they're there to help me. And so being really part of the conversation, that's what gets things done. We were very much getting involved into the weeds of what's the direction we want to take, because APIs are a type of technology that give you that flexibility. Do we want to take the perspective of contractor to contractor? But we ended up deciding no, they want to specifically focus in on CFMA and what we can do to help our association specifically. Rather than trying to create a standard to force everyone in one direction, we have the capabilities with AI and all of the other functionalities out there in the world to just be able to take whatever works best for your business and be able to streamline it so that CFMA can collect that data in just 5 minutes rather than hours and hours or even weeks of time. The aha that we're having is to actually make it easier for people to submit data without overcomplicating it with APIs, with standards, with things that aren't the way that they do it, and enable them to submit what you got so that we can then drive insights from exactly that.
Thank you everyone so much for having us up here today. So, want to give a little bit of context here. We completely threw out our original team objective. Was not going to happen. Essentially, we decided to focus a little bit more on CFMA, my organization. A little bit of background, we have been producing a financial benchmarker for over 30 years for the construction financial industry. And it's been a phenomenal resource for the entire industry. However, we have a few issues in terms of, are we collecting enough data to truly be an accurate benchmarker? And also, what can we do to really make sure that you can actually use those data points to create actionable items? So we've changed our team objective to, how might we eliminate friction from self-reporting process in ways that make it easy to capture detailed and asymmetric metrics from diverse systems, so that credible, actionable, industry-wide insights about construction financial performance are readily available to help inspire growth. Now we'll move over to this side. I know, quite the mouthful. So we decided we really wanted to focus on how we collect that data for the benchmarker. It is a manual process. Again, it's been out for over 30 years, but the process in which we create that lovely benchmarker hasn't changed very much at all. So we need to find a way for companies to capture or measure performance the same. I think we changed that a little bit. So that, again, just so that we can more readily and easily availably collect that data and produce our report. You want to take it?
Sure.
So we basically challenged Arlene to think into the future. Hey, April 2027, what do you want to be able to say publicly as like a proud accomplishment, right? So we actually came up with 5 different things that would be a great future state to brag about. We took some of those and turned them into our rocket fuel, all pointing to this idea that we are able to capture more and better data. And in order to get there, there's a few things that we felt were unlocked, and we went ahead and put them on the impact and effort quadrant. One that would be high effort, high impact would be ERP collaboration. And one thing you could do in the process of building tighter relationships with these ERPs is you could actually get a tighter definition of your total addressable market, right? So by having a tighter definition of your TAM, you also build confidence in that, hey, the data that's being reported and used in my AI insights on my own personal financial health dashboard that the CFMA is providing, those insights are powered by the companies that I respect the most, right? So It gives us a really solid starting point of who we're talking to and who we're collecting data from. High impact and maybe a little bit lower effort would be easier collection and custom data dashboard. Although we kind of feel like this custom data dashboard might even be irrelevant if we execute well on an AI-enabled action plan and recommendation engine, right? So as you're going through the report, you can actually chat with that report and provide a unique context of your own business in a way that it can then say, hey, based on the collective data of the entire industry and your specific peers, based on the criteria that you select your peers, we can actually give you an action plan on how to improve and grow as a business.
To, again, provide a little bit more context there, our current benchmarker is only available in a very large Excel sheet or in a 94-page PDF document. Not exactly readable, very static, not very dynamic. So the AI, the custom dashboard, that's going to help take to the next level. And so we started throwing a little something together. I don't know if it's ready quite yet to show, but everything that we wrote down.
He's giving us the nope. So.
Forthcoming.
Well, I can say
The dream.
I can say that what Brett's working on back there, there's a lot of different ways that people can leverage AI to bring forth an outcome. I thought about my own path. You know, she was like, "Hey, let's build something." Okay, great. And I have very limited experience with AI. And I started imagining how I would attack the problem, leveraging AI to bring something to life. I didn't even get started. I looked over the shoulder and was like, well, I wonder what Brett's working on. And he started with this process of dissecting the existing static form survey, breaking it down into unique question by question, and then rebuilding it and repackaging it with an AI agent so that as you're filling the survey out, it takes away the linear focus of the survey and actually starts reinforcing more engagement in more questions by explaining to you along the way, hey, thanks for that data point. That's going to help us build this. Now, based on your profile within the company, we also think you can answer these questions. So he started by kind of reimagining what a survey experience for the human would actually look like. So there's that. But then the other question then becomes, if we're talking about eliminating friction, this ERP collab might even just be an easy button of 2 button clicks, and you just automatically export from the right databases into what CFMA is built benchmarking around. So.
And completely overwriting all of those anchors that we initially went over this morning as well. Thank you again, Nathan, for capturing that. It's that people don't know where that data exists, or it's just too easy, or it's not easy enough for them to manually submit it. It takes too long. We're essentially completely bypassing that. So I'm very excited to see what Brett's got cooking back there, because maybe I can streamline everything that I had originally laid out in a 5-year plan in 2 months.
And I think the thing to add and how this might apply to not just CFMA is the rules of engagement around information is changing. We had standards, we had forms, because making data homogeneous enough to report on was very challenging in days before we had artificial intelligence. And now the opportunity is perhaps APIs are not the solution. Maybe that's an opportunity to source information, but we can also source information more messily and use tools to actually normalize on the back end, which reduces then the friction. So if you're thinking about doing a study or collecting information, the best way to collect information is to make that as seamless for the person creating the information as possible. And so by moving the burden to the aggregator, you can unlock more information more readily to hopefully drive better engagement and better results.
It's just been so absolutely amazing being able to collaborate with all of these industry leaders and really move things forward in a way that can't get done without these types of conversations.
For anybody who's considering anything within construction, you understand likely that it is a deeply collaborative industry, and the only way to collaborate is to have understanding. And so coming and being part of this community where we roll up our sleeves, we get to the table, we talk about problems, we share perspectives, is the best way to broaden your perspective so that you can actually figure out what it means to drive a solution forward rather than to force one.